Have you ever felt so nervous that you literally feel like throwing up? That's literally how I felt this morning. I felt like throwing up. And I feel like this entire week I've felt so stressed to the point where I feel sick. Like my body has actually gotten sick. And it's because for this past week and these past few weeks, I've been having to deal with making a big life altering decision, and it's so scary because I don't know what the future is going to look like. And at the same time, it's not like I have the support, but I feel like how do I put this? I have the support of a few people, but at the same time, those people are equally as scared as me. So at the end of the day, they're going to try and give me advice based on what they think would be the safest choice for me, whilst also supporting me and my decisions and my own dreams. Yeah, I've had to face this huge life-altering decision, and in a sense, it feels like I've had to do it alone. Because as much as other people can advise me and tell me what to do, it's my life. I'm the one who's going to have to live with the decisions and the consequences of my actions and the decisions I've made for my life. So when I woke up this morning and it dawned on me that I had made this huge life-altering decision, I couldn't handle it. It felt like a heavy weight was put on me. Like, literally, you know those boulders that they have in cartoons, yeah? Those huge, large boulders. Well, I'm saying in cartoons, and I'm sure they exist in real life. It's just that I haven't seen them outside of cartoons. I've only seen them in cartoons. But yeah, you know those huge boulders that you see in cartoons. It felt like one of those was sitting on my chest, and I was panicking and I was spiraling and I was just, I couldn't breathe. Do you ever feel like something is literally just killing your soul? Like it's taking everything within you to be normal whilst doing this thing, but this thing is actually just, it's eating away at you every single day. That's this decision that I had to make. So I woke up and I went on ChatGPT. I need to stop talking to ChatGPT. But you know, I think people are actually being unfair when they say don't use ChatGPT as your therapist. I remember seeing this tweet where this person said the only reason we use ChatGPT as our therapist is because ChatGPT is the only one who listen. And real, as much as I agree we shouldn't be using AI, period. But if we're going to be using AI, we shouldn't be using it as our personal therapist or guidance advisor. But sometimes I use AI to bounce off ideas, you know, it's like I'm talking to myself, but myself is talking back to me. So I don't take what it's telling me word for word as truth, but I take it as basically what I would say to myself, but now on paper. So I can look at it and reflect on it and see if it makes sense to me now. Anyways, so I'm talking to ChatGPT, and it's basically giving me tips on how to calm down, telling me how the only reason I'm feeling fear and worry in this moment is because the future is uncertain, and I've made this huge life-altering decision that's going to come back, that's going to be met with so much backlash and so much uncertainty. And yeah, that's why I'm afraid. That's why I feel guilty. It's not because I think my decision is wrong. It's because I don't know whether my decision is wrong or right. All I know is that's what my heart and my soul and my intuition is telling me at this moment in time. But the truth is, none of us know the future, you know? And I feel like we should be less afraid of uncertainty. Because if you really think about it, everything is uncertain. Even when you plan and plan and plan and you follow the right paths and you do the right thing, and when I say right, I don't mean actually right, I mean right thing, because we don't really know what the right thing is. But yeah, you can plan and plan and plan all you want and do things the way you think they're meant to be done, and things still don't work out. And I feel like that's just a fact. You never actually know, you know? I really wonder what it is about human beings that we have the answers, but despite having the answers, we choose to not listen to them. For example, the sayings, life is short, the future is uncertain, follow your heart, be true to yourself. Those are things we know. Those are things we hear all the time. And yet we still choose to live life opposite of that. And I guess my question is why? Like, life is short, and yet you choose to live life like tomorrow is promised. Or like, the saying, practice makes perfect, and yet you choose to give up on the first or the second try, knowing that you're not going to be an expert. Like, why? Guys, like, we know these things, Yeah, anyway, so talking to ChatGPT is calming me down. And then I'm like, okay, fine. I'm calm now. I think the best I can do is accept that I made this decision and try to make the most out of it now. I don't know if you guys ever feel like your intuition is screaming and shouting at you, but your head is just saying no. Your head is telling you, listen to logic, listen to reasoning. But your intuition is telling you, imagine you don't fit this certain mold. So why is it that you keep trying to make yourself fit into a mold that is not meant for you? You already know you're an optimistic person, you're a dreamer, and your dreams have led you this far. But for some reason, you're like, screw my dreams, I'm just being delusional. Let me instead follow this other way of life that works for everyone else but doesn't work for me, right? But let me just do that because I think that's what's going to lead me down the right path. And yet that that's not your personality. That's not how things usually work out for you. That when things work out for you, it's usually because you're optimistic and you believe and you have this faith, this unwavering and unshaken faith that leads you there. But yet you're still choosing to listen to other people's way of life when you're not like other people. Guys, I need you to know that every time I'm saying something on here, it's really just me talking to myself and not really talking to you. Which is another thing. I feel like of late, I like saying I feel like. Of late, a lot of people have been hitting me up. Of late, I've been getting a lot of comments saying, oh, you give good advice, you'd be a good, personal coach, not a personal coach. You'd be a good public speaker, motivational speaker, but that's not my end goal. If anything, I'm just sharing my experiences and my thoughts and telling you what I think and hoping that maybe sometimes you'll gain something from it, but for the most part, you'll be able to relate. I feel like if I had someone who was just like me and was going through the exact same experiences as me, and they were open enough to talk about their challenges and their experiences, it would help me a lot. It would have helped me a lot. Sometimes I feel like a black sheep. Not sometimes, all my life. But not just in society. Well, yes, in society, but even just with the people around me. I've never really felt like I could relate to other people's experiences 100%. Because I just felt like my struggles were not the same. I felt like my goals were not the same. And the challenges we were experiencing were just completely different. But now I'm starting to think that maybe we're all the black sheeps. Can I eat with that? Like, we're all so consumed with our own problems and our own problems and our own things that we have going on. And because we're the main characters in our own lives, we think that we're the only ones going through those things, right? And actually, this is why I think we should abolish shame. Genuinely, I really think we should abolish shame. Because if it were not for shame, a lot more people would be sharing their experiences and the things that they're going through. And through sharing their own experiences and challenges, whatever it is, other people are able to find and create their own communities and overcome whatever it is they're going through. Sorry, I had to change the positioning of my laptop because it needed to charge and then it disconnected. Yay! The saying that a problem shared is a problem half solved, I think it's really true. I think that's been my reality of late, because I'm the kind of person who doesn't really like to tell people about my problems or my challenges or the things that I'm going through because of fear of shame and embarrassment and being what's the word? Being ridiculed, right? And so a lot of the time I'll be struggling with this thing that's really eating at me, and it's just it's taking everything within me to act like I'm okay, when in reality, if I just soundboarded off of someone else or just shared with someone else, I probably would not have to struggle as much as I was on my own. Again, no man is an island. That's another saying people say, and I think it's low-key true. I think growing up, I was so used to being alone that I just thought that I can do and fix all my problems by myself. But I think through growing up and experiencing friendships and relationships with people who genuinely want to be there for me and care about me and will be supportive no matter what, that's made me more open to opening up and to asking for help. I didn't even realize I had a problem asking for help until I hit rock bottom and I was like, shit, I should probably ask for help a lot more. And the thing is, once you say what it is that's disturbing you out loud, once you say your problems out loud, you realize they're not as big as you thought they were. Like, yes, they could still be big, but you realize it's not as bad as you think, basically. And that's not to diminish anyone's problems. I know people are going through a lot of things out there that I can't even begin to imagine. But I do think once you talk about them, it becomes easier to find a solution and to tackle them than when you keep them to yourself. Like, no one's going to give you a reward for keeping your problems to yourself. No one is going to give you a reward for suffering. So you might as well just seek help, or share. But with the right people. You always have to be careful who you're sharing your problems with, though. Because it's very easy to share your problems with the wrong people and then feel significantly worse than you felt before. I remember there was a time I bumped into some girls and we were just talking. I was literally just making small talk with them, nothing deep. And I didn't know them that well. They were just some girls I had seen around, basically. And we hung out a few times. So I'd say we were like more so acquaintances. Anyways, so I go up to them, I sit down with them, we're talking. And then they ask me about something that was really bothering me at the time. And it's not even something deep or something. It's just a simple question. The way someone can ask you, how are you? Or how is work taking you? Or how is school taking you? It was one of those, yeah. So they asked me and immediately I just broke down. Like, it was something that was really bugging me and I had not been talking to anyone else about it at the time. And they just caught me at the wrong time. And before I knew it, I'm breaking down in tears. Mind you, I don't even know these girls like that. And they don't even know me like that. So immediately, they just begin to comfort me. And but even the comforting, it's not like, oh my gosh, don't worry about it, it's gonna be fine. It's more like, oh, sorry. It was so awkward. It was like, it was very awkward. It was very I remember feeling so embarrassed because I was just asking myself, how is it that I'm reaching the point that I'm breaking down in front of strangers? Why am I oversharing with strangers? But it's because I wasn't sharing my problems. I was just keeping them to myself. And before I knew it, I had reached my breaking point. Yeah. So they were looking at me with very awkward expressions. And I'm pretty sure in their heads they were thinking, why is this girl crying? Why is she oversharing right now? We don't know her like that. It was just so awkward, guys. And embarrassing. Don't wait until you've reached your breaking point in order to ask for help. Just ask for help. And I understand that sometimes it's actually not that easy because sometimes you don't even have people who are willing to listen. Which brings me back to my point on ChatGPT. This is why people are resorting to AI for help, guys. It's because people are not willing to listen. And I think if you can be the kind of person who tries to be non-judgmental and objective when relating with the people in their lives, be it their family or their friends, just do it. Honestly, just do it. Because you don't know, even just listening to someone, that can take them really, really far. I know for me, sometimes when I go to someone for help, I'm not necessarily looking for advice, but more so someone who'll just listen to what I have to say and console me in the way that they can. And of course, no, guys, just console people. I was about to say we shouldn't enable people's behaviors, and we shouldn't, right? And of course, we should be able to tell our people the harsh truth and hold them accountable where we need to. But at the same time, I think we should just give people empathy. Empathy is just the key. Let's just have empathy for everyone, you know? Back to my original point of abolishing shame and embarrassment. I realized this week I would find myself really being stressed at the thought of what other people will think of me in terms of the decisions I make for my life and how I show up and how I don't show up. And I think it's actually so ridiculous. I didn't think I cared as much as I do think, but I really care. It really bothers me to think that certain people are going to perceive me in certain ways. And sometimes it actually holds me back from making certain decisions. And sometimes it forces me to do things that I wouldn't want to do, that I would rather not do if it were up to me. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, what will so-and-so think? Oh my God, what will so-and-so do? If I don't do this, if I do this, if I show up like this, if I show up like that. But you know, now that I'm thinking about it, one, why am I assuming that other people are thinking about me? That's one. Because I don't usually be thinking about other people. So why would I assume that other people are thinking about me? Like, that's so self-centered. But two, even the people I think have a good perception of me, why am I assuming that they always have a good perception of me? In fact, I have made the assumption that their perception of me is good, but I'm not in their head. I actually don't know what they really think of me. The only people who know what they really think of me are they themselves, and I guess God. But other than that, I actually don't know what they think of me. So I'm just assuming that so-and-so has a good image of me in their head, when probably they don't even think of me. Or even if they do think of me, their image of me is probably completely different from what I assumed that they thought of me. Back to the things we are taught and the things we hear and the sayings people say. They are sayings for a reason, and we know them and we repeat them, right? Things like be yourself and don't care what other people think of you, and your life is your own. But for some reason, we don't choose to implement them. Because as much as I know that I shouldn't care what other people think of me, and my life is my own, and my decisions are my own, and this is my life, I still find myself worrying about what other people will think of me. Why do we do this? Why do we do this to ourselves, guys? Why do we actually do this to ourselves?